Hi, my name's Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. The city of Rome has been around for almost 2,700 years, maybe even longer. It's been the center point of an incredible empire, world empire that lasted 1,000 years, a civilization whose ripples still extend out to us today. Rome has a founding story connected to itself. The story of Romulus and Remus, twin brothers actually, who get an opportunity through life to establish a new city along the banks of the Tiber River. But they can't agree on which hill to build the city. And they become rivals to each other, and ultimately Romulus kills Remus. And in the story, he is justified in doing so because Remus has committed some sacrilegious sin against the gods. Romulus is declared innocent, and Remus is declared guilty. Compare that story to the story of the founding of civilization in the Bible. There you too have two brothers, Cain and Abel. Cain, the perpetrator, murders his brother Abel, but in this story, Abel is declared the victim and innocent, and Cain, the perpetrator, is declared guilty. A radically different point of view. In fact, it tells us the story from the point of view of the victim. And that's what makes the biblical story so unique in the ancient world, because it took often the point of view of the victim in storytelling. Looked at the problem of life from the victim standpoint, not the perpetrator. And we've been living under its influence for the last 2,000 years, because in the New Testament, Jesus Christ is declared the innocent victim in a very clear and concise manner. And it's shaped our mores over the last 2,000 years. It's shaped our law and our political thinking and the way we relate to each other. Even the way we parent our children is shaped by our concern for the innocence of victims. What's interesting for our time, though, is it's becoming more difficult to tell who the victim is in our culture. It seems everybody today is claiming to be a victim in some form or another. I look down south in that whole issue around the nomination of a new justice to the United States Supreme Court, where you have Kavanaugh claiming to be a victim of false accusation, and you have Lasky-Ford accusing Kavanaugh of sexual assault. It seems in today's society you need to be a victim in order to have any currency in the way the world works. But as I say, that makes it difficult for us to gauge who the victim is in any circumstance. Between Kavanaugh and Lasky-Ford, who is in truth the victim? In truth, I don't really know. I'm not sure. That extends into our families and into our lives with each other. With our claim to victim status today, it becomes more and more difficult to tell the story from the victim's point of view. But it seems to me that we're on the verge of something quite new in human history. In the ancient world, to be a victim is to be powerless, but today in the West, it seems to be a victim is to claim power for oneself. To be a victim is to give oneself power, become a weapon in a sense, to our victim status, to be used against people in a rather sometimes cruel manner. Like all weapons, it can cause mayhem, destruction, and harm to our neighbors. Our victim status can be used as a weapon to create more victims in life. What are we to do in this circumstance? Well, I think we go back to the first declared innocent victim in human history. And we look at Jesus. When he was being crucified on the cross by his hostile community, he says to God in the moment, cries out, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." In that moment, he shares with us not only the status of victimhood, but he also shows us how we're to use it with one another in the practice of forgiveness, and to be agents of forgiveness with one another. Be interesting in our victim culture today and our concern for victims if, as we embrace the status of victim, that we also understood that a ministry goes with it as well, a ministry of forgiveness with one another. I know, I'm pretty confident today I'll have some little experience of being a victim in the world. I'll claim that victim status for myself, but I hope I remember that also with that victim status comes the opportunity to be a minister of forgiveness to the world. That in the midst of my hurt comes the healing of life around me.